Everybody, JC here with another T&I toy review, and today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, we're going to be taking a look at the new Absorbing Man Build-A-Figure. Now this is the Build-A-Figure for the new Spider-Man Marvel Legends 6-inch line that just was released this last week or so. It is hitting shelves. It's also available at Big Bad Toy Store, and there's a link in the description below for that if you want to order it there. So we've already looked at the other figures in the line, and now we're going to take a look, assemble, and take a look at the Absorbing Man. So we have all the pieces here, and so we'll start off with the torso piece. And one thing I want to note here, the pegs on the for the legs are two different sizes, and I don't recall this being the case with previous Build-A-Figures. I might be wrong on that, but usually I seem to recall that they're usually the same size, so I don't know why they did the two different sizes unless they just wanted to make it so you could more easily tell which leg fits into which peg, because obviously the smaller hole on the one leg will fit in the smaller peg, and you just push it in and it clicks into place, and then the bigger hole fits in the bigger peg. Okay, so now for the remaining pieces, the arms and the head, we actually have two different choices on both. So you have a pair of arms that have basically are partly painted with gray, and this one is painted with a brown to give it a rock feel to it, and this one I'm going to say concrete. And so you can put these on, or you've got a pair of hands that are, one is just completely skin tone, and then the other is done in a metallic type color to look like he's absorbing metal. Now I will say, mainly because I don't think he can absorb two different properties at the same time, so the two arms with the two different properties doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So it would have been nice if they had maybe just included one clean pair of arms with just skin tone, and then one pair of arms with one of these effects, as opposed to three different ones. So we'll go with the stone color. Actually, let's go with the metal, because that's usually what you see him absorbing, is some kind of metal. And we'll go with the regular skin tone arm. So you just pop those in, and again they just click in. And then finally with the head, you get a clean head with just skin tone, and then you get a head that's like screaming, he's got his mouth open, and he's absorbing another property. So this head would match the arm, the dark gray arm that looks like he's looks like stone. So if you want to match the head and the arm, these are the two that you'd want to go with. So since we went with metal, let's go with the clean head. It snaps right in, and so there you go. And then finally he comes with his weapon of choice, the wrecking ball. Now there's really very little paint detail on this. It's just looks like plastic. The chain definitely looks like plastic. The ball has some sculpting detail on it to make it look like it's a stone ball or something, but again, not very much in the way of paint detail. It's just a basic gray color. So you can basically put this in his hand. Usually you see him oftentimes kind of just slinging it over his shoulder. So let's see if we can. So actually the way the chain is shaped, you can't really get it in that shoulder slinging pose very well, but you can just kind of have him hold it. And he'll hold it in, well, the other arm is closed-fisted, so the right arms are the only ones that have open hands, so he has to hold it in his right hand. Okay, so looking at the figure itself, I like the detailing with the sculpting, like on the chest. They've sculpted some veins on his bare chest, and I like the muscle texture that they've sculpted on there. I think that looks really good. I like the head sculpt. I like the head sculpt with the stone and the gold eye better than the other one. This one looks more like that character from The Hills Have Eyes. And it's not bad. I like this one. I think this one looks more comic accurate. What I don't like, as I mentioned before, is I don't like that they didn't give him two flesh tone arms. So here, I've switched to the gray stone arm to match the head, but I don't have a flesh tone right arm to go with it. So I've had to use this metallic metal arm, so it looks like he's absorbing two different properties. For the rest of the figure, you've got basically the purple pants with the black striping, and there's not any kind of washwork or anything, but I think the striping is pretty clean, so I like that. The belt piece is a separate piece. Now, it's not meant to be removed, I don't think, but if you really wanted to slide it off, you probably could get it off. But again, I don't think it's really meant to be removed. and it's just black, but I like the texturing on the belt to give it that kind of leather look, and then you've got the silver belt buckle and the little hole sculpted in. So the belt looks really good, and then he's got the black shoes. So overall, you know, again, I think the figure looks nice. My only real complaint is just I really would have wished they've given us 2 skin tone arms. Okay, so the figure stands about 8 inches exactly. Here he is next to the pizza-eating Spider-Man, and even though I don't really associate Absorbing Man much of a Spider-Man villain, I know they've tangled a time or two, but scale between the two seems to be pretty good. Here's a comparison with Hasbro's Build-A-Figure Thanos figure, and Absorbing Man is a bit taller. I definitely think this Thanos is a little bit on the small side, and then the Hulkbuster figure, and Hulkbuster is bigger. And then here's a comparison with the new Marvel Now Hulk figure that was in the box set, the Target exclusive box set, and the most recent Thor figure, or one of the more recent Thor figures. And the scale seems to be pretty good. You know, Absorbing Man's maybe a little bit taller than Thor. Honestly, I think they're pretty close to the same height in the comic, so you know, these are close enough. And then Hulk's a little bit taller. So again, I think the scale overall is pretty good between these 3. And then finally, here he is next to the old Toy Biz Absorbing Man figure. This is the only other Absorbing Man figure I own. And you can see this new one is much taller and much better scale. I like this figure back in the day, but definitely I like the detailing and everything much more on this new figure over the old Toy Biz. Now, one thing I do like about the Toy Biz one better than this one is his ball and chain. I liked on the old one how they gave him the flexible chain so you could do it in multiple poses and stuff. It's a completely black ball, so I actually think the detailing on this, even though it's just all black, it looks a little better than the one that comes with this Build-A-Figure. But what I mostly like best about it is how the chain is not just stuck in one pose. Okay, so articulation is not too bad on the figure. The head is on a ball joint, so he can look left and he can look right. It's actually on a ball hinge joint, but with the way the head's sculpted, he can look down a little bit, but can't really look back too much. So, can't really pivot the head either, so you really just got the left and right and just a little bit of up and down movement. Arms are attached with your standard ball hinge joint at the shoulder, so you can get the arms out good. He's got good rotation. He's got the bicep swivel, a single hinged elbow on both sets of arms, so he can only bend his elbow about that much. He's got the swivels at the wrists. He does have hinges on these, but with like this one, the hinges are basically covered up, so he really doesn't have any up or down movement. On this metal hand, he's got more up and down movement. The flesh tone hand, he's got decent up and down movement, and even the rock hand has got pretty good up and down movement. He's got an ab crunch joint, so he can look down good, crunch down, and then he can look back pretty good as well. He's got a waist swivel. Legs are attached with ball joints, ball hinge joints, so he can do the splits good. He can do his leg forward about that much, and he can do his leg back. He can't really do his leg back very much because of the way the butt's sculpted. He's got the thigh swivel. He does have a double jointed knee, so he can bend his knee about that much. And then he's got hinges on the feet, but again, they're kind of covered by the pants, so he's got a little bit of down movement, but not a whole lot of up movement. And he's got a little bit of pivot, but not a whole lot, because again, the pants come down so far over the shoes. And then he's got 2 peg holes on the bottom of his feet. Okay, so that's my review. Overall, I like this figure. I like the detailing. I like the sculpting. I like the paint applications on the arms with the absorbing properties. I think they did a nice job with that. I didn't really touch on that in the earlier part of the review, but I definitely like the paint applications. They've done some nice wash work on each of the 3 arms with the properties. The metal one's got the silver metallic. So I think all 3 look good. My only complaint is that just they didn't give us 2 flesh tone arms, so you end up having to mix and match properties if you're switching out the arms. So that again is really my only complaint with the figure. I don't like the accessory. I don't like this chain that's kind of stuck in this one position, and the paint detail on this ball and chain is not very good. So if you have the old Toy Biz one, I definitely recommend switching out the ball and chain from that one with this one. I think it goes well. I know there's also, I think Hasbro did another Absorbing Man figure, if I'm not mistaken, which I don't have, so I don't know what kind of ball and chain that one came with, and I also don't have the Wrecking Crew that has the ball and chain, so I don't know if that one would be better. I think that one that came with the Wrecking Crew has a little better paint detail, but I don't know if it's got the same kind of chain that's stuck in one pose. That's what I mainly like about the Toy Biz one, is it's got that flexible chain. So this figure, or this wave with the pieces for this figure, are out now. You can find them at places like Toys R Us. It's also available online at Big Bad Toy Store. We'll have a full image gallery for this figure up at marvelousnews.com, so be sure to check that out. There's a link in the description below. And as always, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, please like the video. And if you haven't already, please subscribe. And until next time, I'll catch you later.